And so B Corp certification for us is almost like it's an endorsement that shows that we are legit. We have subscribed to an international community and we've passed some fairly high hurdles to entry. And so it's been really useful in terms of credibility. As soon as we mention to some companies, oh, and we're one of the world's highest scoring B Corps. For those who have heard about B Corps, and I think on a daily basis, the list grows bigger, that people, it immediately, helps to establish credibility where maybe it was a bit more difficult in the beginning. My name is Hassan Sachedina. I'm the CEO of BCP, BioCarbon Partners. We're an African forest carbon project developer. We're a social enterprise and we're mission driven. Our mission is to make the conservation of wildlife habitat valuable to people. We're one of the leading players in the space by the number of hectares under co-management agreements with community and government partners, roughly around 1 million hectares. And by social impact, roughly around 225,000 people benefit from the livelihood programs that our projects implement in Zambia. I consider myself a career conservationist, and I've been passionate about this since I was a kid. The problem is, how do you fund conservation? And it's primarily aid dependent or dependent upon tourism. And look at those two sectors now during COVID. So roughly around 12 years ago, I got involved in the carbon space. And the reason was I saw this as an opportunity to bring in a new source of conservation finance. And if it works, it should be a really valuable thing because it changes the narrative from, let's say, being dependent upon charity to these areas and the communities who protect them provide a valuable service to the world, and they should be paid. And so what we set out to do through BCP roughly about 10 years ago was to experiment in this new space. And we set up 2 projects now and got them through international certification. And we've been able to generate a significant amount of benefits. I mean, in the last 9 months, we've made direct payments to communities, 12 communities, of over $4 million. And that doesn't include the rest of the community value creation package, which is separate to direct payments. So, as to the best of our knowledge, there is no other land use which is coming close to improving people's quality of life and restoring forests and wildlife at the same time through a non-extractive industry. B Corp certification for us is almost like it's an endorsement that shows that we are legit. We have subscribed to an international community and we've passed some fairly high hurdles to entry. And so it's been really useful in terms of credibility. As soon as we mention to some companies, oh, and we're one of the world's highest scoring B Corps. For those who have heard about B Corps, and I think on a daily basis, the list grows bigger, that people, it immediately, helps to establish credibility where maybe it was a bit more difficult in the beginning. And one of my key priorities, moving forward is how do we increase staff retention? How do we get BCP to become one of the top 10 employers by ranking in Zambia? And so how we look after our people is something that is probably the most important part of the B Corp certification that we are focused on right now. We've come from a place where, because we put so much focus on this, for example, like in 2019, we introduced a whole raft of different benefits. And we even increased our bonus pool at the end of 2020, which was sort of almost completely counterintuitive. Everywhere around us in Zambia and the world, companies are scaling back, furloughing, pay cuts, really. And so it was this really weird, almost like counterintuitive thing where we're hiring, we are increasing our benefits, And we're trying to help our people cope as best as they can with COVID. The interesting thing that has happened as a result of this is that it's actually made a whole bunch of other operational risks much clearer, because we've solved a lot of the salary and benefits type structure. People are more comfortable with where we're at there, but now it's moved us into this much healthier direction for the company, where we're okay, but we don't feel supported by logistics, or we don't feel supported by the existing structures we have because we need tires, or we've got some other risk. So we've moved our personnel from being we've moved them into much this sort of category of being much more active promoters and almost like risk managers, by having taken care of or invested more heavily in in a better work environment. It's been a really interesting one because our turnover rate has dropped year on year. The other one is the benefits that it confers to us from a marketing perspective when we try to connect with new companies and sell verified carbon offsets. The other benefit as well is networking. So within the community, but also when we're reaching out to companies who we don't have any connection with, it's it's a way of, I suppose, establishing trust quite quite early on. And what we found is that we are in the to the best of our ability in a market which Zambia doesn't have many other B Corps, is where we can, we want to buy from B Corps. In a personal in a personal capacity, any chance I get to direct my business to a B Corp over another competitor, any day, any day would I choose, because it's this brand which says that this company looks after their people and it looks after the community and it looks after the planet. Why wouldn't I want to give my $1 in business to that company over a competitor who makes a similar product but hasn't gone the extra effort? Really do see a future where ideally every company should become a B Corp, and the community, in theory, should begin to grow exponentially over the next decade.